Prison is often thought of as a place where wrongdoers pay their debts, a place of repentance and reflection. But what happens when the people locked away are so dangerous, so cruel, that even within the cold concrete walls, they continue to inspire fear? The world is filled with stories of violent men who carried their brutality behind bars, but today we're diving into a darker truth. Women too have earned reputations as some of the most terrifying inmates to ever live. From cold-blooded killers to manipulative masterminds, these 10 women turned prison into a stage for fear and control. And trust me, by the end of this list, you'll think twice before assuming prisons are safer just because they hold women. Number 10. Aileen Wuornos, the Freeway Terror. Our list begins with one of the most infamous female serial killers of modern times, Aileen Wuornos. Known as the Freeway Terror, she prowled the highways of Florida in the late 1980s and early 1990s. On the surface, Wuornos appeared as a desperate sex worker looking for clients. In reality, she was a predator. Once in her grasp, wealthy men often ended up with a bullet in their chest and their money stolen. Arrested and convicted of murdering 7 men, Wuornos became a chilling symbol of predatory violence. On death row, her aggression didn't stop. Guards described her as combative, paranoid, and constantly on edge. Other inmates feared her violent outbursts, and eventually she was placed in near-total isolation. For more than 10 years, she lived alone in her cell until her execution by lethal injection in 2002. Even in her final interviews, her anger and paranoia unsettled viewers around the world. Number 9. Susan Atkins, Manson's dark disciple. If you've heard of the Manson family murders, you already know the name Susan Atkins. One of Charles Manson's most devoted followers, she was part of the infamous Tate LaBianca killings that shocked America in 1969. But her story didn't end there. In prison, Atkins didn't distance herself from Manson's twisted ideology. Instead, she embraced it, spreading his influence among other inmates. Guards and fellow prisoners recalled how she manipulated others, pulling strings behind the scenes like a puppeteer. Atkins was linked to violent altercations, including orchestrating a stabbing behind bars. Her cold loyalty to Manson's madness made her one of the most feared women in the prison system. Even as the years went by, Atkins never fully disavowed her connection to Manson, proving that some cult ties are too deep to ever break. Number 8. Velma Barfield, the Deadly Granny. On the outside, Velma Barfield looked like the picture of a sweet southern grandmother, but behind that warm smile was a killer who poisoned her own family members. Convicted of multiple murders, she became known as Death Row Granny. Even after her conviction, Barfield's reputation only grew darker. Rumors spread that she plotted sinister schemes inside the prison walls, whispering instructions to others and causing unrest during mealtimes. Some claim she experimented with brewing concoctions from cleaning supplies, echoing the poisonings that made her infamous. Whether myth or truth, the fear surrounding her was real. For many, she became the embodiment of betrayal, proving that evil can hide behind the most unassuming faces. Number 7. Karla Homolka, the Manipulative Barbie. Karla Homolka's crimes with her husband Paul Bernardo earned them the nickname the Ken and Barbie Killers. Together, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered young women in Canada, including Karla's own sister. When Homolka was sentenced, many expected prison would finally cage her cruelty. But Homolka's most dangerous weapon wasn't her hands, it was her charm. In prison, she manipulated fellow inmates, playing on their emotions, forming alliances, and then breaking them apart. Stories of her involvement in violent confrontations spread like wildfire. Guards described her as a woman who could smile one moment and spark chaos the next. Her ability to disguise her cruelty beneath a mask of innocence made her one of the most unsettling presences behind bars. Number 6. Myra Hindley, the face of evil in Britain. Alongside Ian Brady, Myra Hindley was responsible for the Moors murders, a series of child abductions and killings that horrified the United Kingdom in the 1960s. Her ordinary appearance masked unspeakable cruelty as she lured children to their deaths. Convicted in 1966, Hindley showed no genuine remorse. Her cold stare seared into the memories of anyone who encountered her. In prison, she carried the same manipulative energy. Rumors circulated that she orchestrated violent confrontations, even clashing with guards. Hindley became a symbol of pure evil, hated by the public and feared by inmates alike. To many, she represented the darkest depths of humanity, proof that sometimes the most terrifying monsters don't look like monsters at all. Number 5. Juana Barraza, the Old Lady Killer. In Mexico, her name sent shockwaves through the country. Juana Barraza, a former professional wrestler who by night became La Mataviejitas, the Old Lady Killer. Between the late 1990s and 2006, she targeted elderly women, gaining their trust before brutally murdering them. Her arrest revealed a deeply troubled past of abuse and neglect, but no excuse could justify the dozens of lives she took. Sentenced to 759 years in prison, Barraza's reputation followed her behind bars. Whispers circulated about her involvement in violent feuds with other inmates, painting a picture of a woman who thrived in confrontation. Even in captivity, the shadow of her crimes continued to haunt everyone around her. Number 4. Rosemary West, the House of Horror's wife. Alongside her husband Fred, Rosemary West transformed their home into a place of nightmares. The couple kidnapped, tortured, and murdered women, and even their own family members, burying many of them beneath the floorboards at 25 Cromwell Street. When police discovered the truth, Britain recoiled in horror. In prison, Rosemary was as ruthless as she had been on the outside. Guards often isolated her because of her violent temper and her ability to intimidate other inmates. Her very presence instilled fear. The atrocities of Cromwell Street clung to her like a shroud, making her one of the most despised women ever locked away in the UK. Number 3. Nanny Doss, the Giggling Granny. From the 1920s to the 1950s, Nanny Doss left a trail of bodies across America. She poisoned her husbands, her children, even her own mother, all while maintaining the image of a cheerful grandmother. When questioned by police, she giggled as she confessed, earning her the nickname, the Giggling Granny. In prison, Doss's disturbing behavior continued. She attacked guards, injured inmates, and once nearly killed another prisoner. The eerie laughter that once masked her crimes now echoed through the prison halls, chilling everyone who heard it. Doss proved that sometimes the most terrifying killers are the ones who look the most harmless. Number 2. Judy Buenawano, the Black Widow. Judy Buenawano lived up to her nickname. From the late 1970s to the early 1980s, she poisoned her lovers, her husband, and even her own son, all for insurance money. Her cruelty knew no limits. In prison, Buenawano's intelligence and ruthlessness turned her into a figure of dread. She orchestrated escape attempts, clashed violently with guards, and created an aura of fear that lingered long after she passed through. Eventually, she was sentenced to death, and in 1998, she became the first woman executed in Florida in more than 150 years. To the end, she remained unrepentant, a chilling reminder of how greed can twist into monstrosity. Number 1. Tamara Samsonova, the Granny Ripper. And finally, we arrive at the top of our list, Tamara Samsonova, the Russian woman who shocked the world with her grisly crimes. Elderly neighbors and acquaintances would accept her invitations for coffee, only to be poisoned, dismembered, and in some cases partially consumed. Investigators discovered diaries where she coldly described her killings as if they were routine chores. Convicted of at least 11 murders, Samsonova entered prison as one of Russia's most feared women. Inside, her reputation preceded her. Inmates refused to share a cell with her, and the entire facility seemed cloaked in unease. Even without committing new crimes behind bars, the weight of her past was enough to poison the atmosphere around her. She wasn't just a killer. She was a living nightmare, the embodiment of fear itself. These 10 women shattered the assumption that prison breaks people down into repentance. For them, prison was just another stage to showcase manipulation, violence, and cruelty. From Aileen Wuornos's violent outbursts to Tamara Samsonova's chilling aura, each of them left scars not only on their victims, but on everyone who ever crossed their path inside the prison walls. So now we ask you, which of these stories disturbed you the most? Was it the deceptive smile of the giggling granny, or the gruesome horrors of the Granny Ripper? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget, sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones who wear the most ordinary faces.